My Gameweek 5 Team Selection. Let's put Gameweek 4 behind us and focus on things going forward, including Gameweek 5 Captaincy, future plans, when I plan to play my wildcard, and some potential transfers I'm looking at this week. Welcome back to the channel, people. 10 likes is the aim, and before we get into Game Week 5, let's have a recap of what went on in Game Week 4. I'm probably not alone in this, but it was a pretty bad game week. Let me know in the comments if you also had a rotter. I got 50 points overall, which landed me a 5.6 million game week rank, dropping me from 330k to 547k. As you can see, there's a hell of a lot of blanks this game week. And the only reason I got anywhere near a good score is because I picked the right captain. It could have been even worse if I'd have picked somebody like Salah. Henderson carried on his terrible point scoring form with a 1-pointer, and Crystal Palace are still yet to keep a clean sheet this season. At the moment, he's top of my list to get out of my team. But I might wait one more week, and I'll let you know why later on in the video. So frustrated to see 2 points from Robinson. Fulham conceded in the 95th minute to a Danny Ings West Ham goal. I think one of the biggest surprises of the game week was Liverpool losing 1-0 to Nottingham Forest, which meant Trent got 1 point. He's still yet to return in the Premier League. Saliba came away with 5. Arsenal kept a clean sheet against Tottenham, but it seems bittersweet because the other centre-backs scored a goal and ended up getting 15 points. One of my transfers was to take out Saka and put Salah in. Saka actually ended up outscoring Salah by 5 points. Trust Salah to blank the first game week I put him in. Rodgers got his customary 2 points, and despite passing the eye test again, didn't get a return. Got reasonably lucky with my auto sub. Smith Rowe came in, getting an assist for João Pedro, who wasn't in the matchday squad. And Smith Rowe ended up being one of only 2 players to get an attacking return in my team in Game Week 4. Eze again got 2 points, and we learnt a little bit more about Crystal Palace and the fact that he isn't on penalties, which obviously makes him a slightly worse option. He did, however, just score and get an assist in their Carabao Cup tie against QPR, so that's nice of him. Semenyo was my other transfer in. I took Jota out, but that was only to fund Salah. Anything from Semenyo against Chelsea would have been a bonus, but I haven't got him in for that fixture. I've got him in for a few fixtures later on where he's playing 2 of the promoted teams. Like I said, Haaland makes the team look a hell of a lot better than it could have been, and that just shows you the importance of picking the right captain. If I'd have picked Salah, as I'm sure many of you did, that could have been a really, really big red arrow. He scored 2 goals in Man City's 2-1 win over Brentford and was so close to getting 3 hat-tricks in a row. Isaac was my last player to play and my only hope of getting anywhere near a green arrow at the end of the game week, so I was pretty annoyed to find out he'd come off at half time against Wolves. Although it didn't appear to be a tactical decision, Eddie Howe came out after the game and said he had some sort of injury to his eye, and we're yet to get any more news going into Game Week 5. So I just wait for the press conferences on Friday to see what Eddie Howe says about his injury and whether he's going to be in the Game Week 5 squad. Even so, he's another player I'm considering taking out regardless. There are a couple of great options to replace him, like Watkins and Havertz. Obviously, Arsenal are playing Man City this week, so I wouldn't put Havertz in this week, but Watkins I'm considering. Newcastle are playing Fulham away, who have started the season pretty well, and Aston Villa are playing Wolves at home, so they've got the home fixture, and Wolves haven't started that well. João Pedro is another injury concern. He wasn't even selected in the Game Week 4 squad for Brighton's game against Ipswich. It was just a reported knock, so my thought would be that he would be back for Game Week 5. Considering they drew 0-0 to Ipswich as well, they're obviously a lot better attacking wise with him in the team. But as I'm recording this video, I've just looked at Brighton's team lineup for their Carabao Cup clash against Wolves, and he hasn't made the squad again. I think we're going to have to wait closer to the deadline to actually see what Pedro's status is. But Brighton do play on Sunday, so we might not hear anything before the deadline. Now, there is one injury we're definitely certain of. Thomas Frank has said that Johan Visser is going to be out for a few months with an ankle injury. I know he would have been a very popular transfer in soon, the same as Mbeumo, when Brentford's fixtures swing in game week 6, but quite a few people already own him. I would still consider Mbeumo a good option, but in my opinion, it does make him slightly worse. Without Visser in the team, Brentford's attack will be worse. I know Mbeumo is more likely then to be the one that's getting the goal returns, but surely there'll be fewer if one of your top strikers is out. If you have Visser, then the best option is to take him out. As I said, he's going to be out for a few months. And the best replacements are probably Leicester's Vardy or Everton's Calvert-Lewin. They're both slightly cheaper than Visser. Calvert-Lewin is 5.9 and Vardy's 5.7. Calvert-Lewin's already scored twice this season and has got some really favourable fixtures. He's actually playing Leicester in game week 5, then Palace, Newcastle, Ipswich, Fulham and Southampton. Vardy's also scored twice this season, and they play Everton in game week 5, then they play Arsenal, then Bournemouth, Southampton, Nottingham Forest and Ipswich. So some favourable fixtures there too. If it was me, I'd go for Calvert-Lewin. Now we're moving on to one of probably the hottest topics of the game week, and that is captaincy. As you can see by my graphic, it's either between Haaland or Salah for me, so they're the two I'm going to cover. I'm going to go ahead and assume that most managers have one, if not both. If you don't, I'd probably go for Cole Palmer. If you don't have either of those three, then you're on your own, sorry. As you can see by the data, Haaland has got a much better chance of getting you a goal. He almost doubles Salah's XG per 90, and he scored 9 goals to Salah's 3 this season. But that's not the only thing you have to consider. You also have to consider the teams they're playing against. And Man City are playing Arsenal, who they do have the best defence in the league, compared to Liverpool, who are playing Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth don't have the worst defence in the league, but it's substantially worse than Arsenal's, as you can see with the stats. Both Liverpool and Man City are at home, so for Arsenal and Bournemouth, I've taken their defensive data from their away games. And as you can see, Arsenal are twice as likely to keep a clean sheet than Bournemouth. They've also had an expected goals conceded per 90 of just 1 this season compared to Bournemouth's 1.5. I actually own both these players, so you'll see shortly when we go through my team selection for Game Week 5 who I've gone for. But before we do that, if you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Despite Haaland playing against Arsenal, he still has the second highest predicted points for the game week with 7.3, but it's only beaten by the man to his left, Mo Salah, who's predicted 8.3. And although these points are based on data and probability, you know the Premier League, there's always a chance that one of them could massively outscore the other one, and it doesn't matter what the fixture is. Anyway, onto my Game Week 5 team selection. And this is what the team would look like if I were to roll the transfer. Now, my plan is to wildcard in Game Week 6, so I'm going to have to suffer through Game Week 5 with a couple of these players. And I'm still not 100% whether I'm going to roll the transfer or I'm going to make one free transfer. If I do make one free transfer, it will be based on news we get from either Isak or Pedro not playing at all. And if we get that kind of news, then it will be Watkins going in for Isak or Dominic Calvert-Lewin going in for Pedro. A slightly rogue potential transfer I'm looking at is actually taking Saliba out for Leif Davis, because Ipswich play Southampton. And if I'm wildcarding in Game Week 6, I can just get Arsenal defenders right back in. But is it really worth using a transfer to get Leif Davis in for 1 week? It would be a huge punt. Leave a comment down below if you think I should do it or not. Nonetheless, back to the team selection as it is now, and we've got Henderson in goal against Man United. regardless of what he does in this game, he could save 2 penalties. He's coming out in Game Week 6 wildcard. Never ideal to have one of your defenders playing against one of your own strikers, but we've still got Robinson in against Newcastle at home. Trent stays in the team for their home fixture against Bournemouth. I feel like a broken record here, but hopefully he can get his first attacking return of the season. Mikalenko's in the team for the first time this season, although Everton have started atrociously, and it's just because Saliba's the other choice, and they're playing against Man City and Haaland, who I've got. That's why Davis is tempting me so much. I know you Gabriel owners will warn against me benching Saliba, but I can't imagine he's going to score against Man City. It'd be super unlucky if he did. As you can see, I've gone with Salah as my captain. I've gone with the fixture. This is actually the main reason I transferred Salah in Game Week 4. It was for this fixture. When Haaland was playing Arsenal, I wanted a better choice of captain. And Salah was the obvious choice. Surely he can't blank 2 weeks in a row. Rodgers makes the team again for their fixture against Wolves at home, but I am just predicting a 2-pointer again. We haven't got anything to say we're going to get anything otherwise. Eze has Man United at home this week, but still makes the team. He's another I'm considering taking out in Game Week 6 on my wildcard for somebody like Mbeumo. But let's see what he can do for one more week. Smith Rowe makes it 2 Fulham players this game week against Newcastle at home. But their fixtures get considerably harder soon, so he's another one I'm considering looking at taking out in my game week wildcard. Haaland's going to make the team regardless of his fixture. They're playing Arsenal, but you can't bench him. And at the moment, it's Isak and Pedro. But like I said, it's not definite that one of these two isn't going to be either Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Ollie Watkins by the deadline. Anyway guys, that's it for the video, and thanks for watching if you got this far. Check out my Game Week 5 transfer targets video if you want to see more content from myself. It was a new style video from me, so I'd like to see what you guys think about it. Other than that, subscribe to the channel for loads more FPL content throughout the season, and give it a like. Hope Game Week 5 goes well for everybody, and I'll catch you in the next one.